Chapel Hill because Drake Maye's pro day was
all over the place.
UNC yesterday. So it's been a busy group. We have some interesting audio. This has been tweeted by @WeWantDallas on Twitter. Tweeted it yesterday. This is audio of a Boston radio host. His name is Cerrone Battle, who was at Drake Maye's pro day because the Patriots pick high as well. I mean,
they picked three.
They could be picking Drake Maye. They could be picking Jaden Daniels.
Correct.
We don't know who the Patriots are going to be picking because the Commanders obviously have the number 2 pick. So here is some boots on the ground audio from Cerrone Battle, who was up close and personal during Drake Maye's pro day yesterday in North Carolina.
What did you see today, Cerrone?
Well, I was sitting there. I don't think I was supposed to be where I was, but I was right on the sidelines to his right. And there was a couple 49ers and Jets scouts, whatever, standing right next to me. He made a rollout throw with somebody in his face about 50 yards down the sidelines, and they started singing the OJ song, Money, 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 Money. So I don't know what the fans, whatever, but from what I saw in the responses of some of the other coaches, Dan Quinn saw a throw. He shook his head and started walking like he was leaving. He saw enough. And they were impressed, and they were telling everybody they were impressed. These are the NFL guys. These aren't the fans or whatever. And I've been to Patriots training camp and all this stuff. I've been down on Drake Maye. But he did make throws you see in person that were better than anything I saw at training camp last year. And it was oohs and ahs from the NFL people, and there wasn't fans in there. And like I said, Niners, Jets, couple other teams, Dan Quinn, they were singing OJ's Money, 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 Money. And I don't know if that tells you anything, but I don't think they was down on Drake Maye as Twitter is. Yes, he did throw the throw into the stands. I was on that side where he threw it. But out of 60 throws, 58 of them were hitting the guys in the hands. Most of the coaches, some of them were standing behind the quarterbacks. The more he threw, about 40, 50 throws in, Elliott Wolf, of all people, crept up behind him and was standing right behind the UNC coaches and all those guys. He was the only one that got a little closer. So if they're giving hints that they're out on him, he definitely looked like he was very interested. But I can clearly tell by the reactions by all the coaches and scouts that were there, and they were shaking their head and grinning. So I think the guys at the top of the draft, he's going to be gone by the time you get to 4th or whatever. But yeah, my honest opinion, the way Elliott Wolf and Mayo was reacting, they're not trading out of that pick.
So my quick takeaway from that is I remember a few years ago during Zach Wilson's pro day, he had some throws that were wowing the scouts and were kind of jaw-dropping type of throws.
Right.
And people were like, oh, my God, look at this arm talent on Zach Wilson.
And then he goes,
and he flames out.
Yeah.
So you just have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. But from
the physical tools are there.
The physical tools are there,
yeah.
and the fact
and maybe
that
he does have to work on some of the fundamentals, like Logan said.
He specifically mentioned that Dan Quinn saw one of the throws and just kind of like
shook his head
and intimated that, okay, well,
that's all I need to see. He's legit.
I've seen what I need to see on this trip to Carolina. He's a kid that I could probably work with if you selected him at number 2.
Right.
Is kind of the vibe that Cerrone Battle was giving off there from his reporting, from being on the sideline during Drake Maye's pro day. And it kind of dovetails with, if you saw some of the videos, like Dan Quinn is there with his hat turned backwards, and he's kind of looking at Drake Maye like it's his own kid. Like his own kid just did something amazing, like your kid graduates or your kid does whatever in life. You're like, gets their first job. Like you're excited about something your kid is doing. That's the kind of look that he had when he was interacting with Drake Maye, I guess, after the throwing session at Chapel Hill.
Yeah,
and also you have the reports that that Kingsbury was basically hip to hip with the offensive coordinator for UNC
Carolina.
throughout the pro day.
Asking him questions, right.
Yeah, so, I mean, the Commanders, they're clearly doing a deep dive on Drake Maye, as they should. They have to decide whether it's him or Jaden Daniels, or, I know J.J. McCarthy's name has crept up in the last few days as to who's going to get selected.
I wonder if their reactions were the same when they saw Daniels and when they saw J.J.
Right.
You know what I mean? Look, pro days, these guys, we haven't heard any negatives really from any of these guys on their pro days. They've looked pretty good, all of them. Maybe J.J. was the best, who knows. But I know Penix looked good yesterday, too.
Yeah, and
But
Drab wants to do a victory lap for hyping
no,
up
he did. He
Penix.
ran a
Oh,
sub 4.6.
I think you guys owe me money.
We do.
I do.
We all owe you
I think
money?
you guys agreed to give me $1 each if he ran a 4.5.
Oh, okay. I'll give you $1. I
yeah.
don't remember that, but all right. But as far as May is concerned, I mean, Logan made some really good points when we had him on at 620. He said, if I had to draft someone right now at 2 who was going to start week 1 next year, it would be Daniels or JJ. But he goes, well, but if it's about, a year and a half, 2-3 years down the road, upside-wise, he'd say Drake Maye.
Right.
So maybe that's the key, or maybe Drake Maye is accelerating in terms of his fundamentals. We'll see. I mean, I have no idea. Do you think the Commanders know right now, today, when they wake up, which they already have, I'm sure, do you think they know who they're taking it to?
No.
They're still pondering.
I think they're going to take all of this intel that they're gathering on Daniels and May and McCarthy that they've gotten over the past few days. They're going to bring it back to Ashburn, and why would they already have a decision made? Like they still have a month, a little under a month to make their final decision. I don't think any final decision has been reached at this point.
Just wondered. I mean, there's a chance they know. Who knows?
Right.
I mean, the Bears probably know.
I think,
but who knows if Washington?
I would assume the Bears know who they're going to select at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the odds and all of the betting angles right now are pointing towards Caleb Williams.
Correct.
So if that's the pick, I would assume they're kind of settled in on who they're going to select.
Well, I haven't really noticed any of the mock drafts, Drabby. Are the mock drafts reacting to pro days yesterday? Based on
I don't know if any mock drafts have come out in the last 12 hours. I could search for you, but
the one I saw yesterday was before the pro days was Pete Prisco, and he had 4 quarterbacks going in the top 4. He had Daniels going to Washington, McCarthy going to the Pats, and then he had the Vikings trading up to 4 to get May.
Right.
So he had 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks, which has never happened before.
So kind of dovetailing off of the Drake Maye Pro Day, I don't know if we touched on this yet. The Commanders made another wide receiver move yesterday.
Oh, really? I missed that.
A depth move, if I had to guess. This is reported by Tom Pelissero. Olamide Zaccheaus signs or agrees to terms with the Commanders. Now, he's not a household name.
Who was he with last year? Philly?
He was with Philly. He had been with Atlanta the 4 seasons prior.
Right.
His high in receptions is 40. He had that in 2022. He's a depth guy, and maybe this is a, hey, De'Ami Brown, this guy might be coming for your job type of signing, in my opinion. Just a guy to add to the rotation. He's not a guy who's going to make a lot of end zone trips. His top scoring output, both 21 and 22, he had 3 touchdowns in each of those years. But, another guy to add to that receiving core, add some competition, add some depth to whoever the number 2 selection is going to be.
So basically, I think they've got to be number 1 in the league in terms of free agent signings.
Probably.
They got to be pretty close to the top of the league.
If they're not number 1, they're right up there.
Yeah. I think if you include Zaccheaus from yesterday, I think they've added 19 new guys.
Right.
It might be 20, but it's near 20.
Mm-hmm.
So, so right now, if you look at the wide receiver depth chart, you got obviously McLaurin, Dotson, De'Ami Brown. Now you add Zaccheaus in there, Crowder, Mitchell Tinsley still on the roster. So are they going to draft somebody pretty high? We'll see. Cakes would love for them to move up in the first round, maybe trade some of their future picks, move up to late first and take another receiver. I think they should get another receiver.
And look, Adam Peters knows what he's doing. He knows this is obviously a deep wideout class. So maybe he's just thinking, well, why am I going to part with draft capital and move up? I don't need to do that. I can just wait at 36 or 40 if I see somebody I like there.
You got 3 picks in the 3rd round. Use one of those.
Or I go into the 3rd round. Or he signs cheap guys like Olamide Zaccheaus, and he doesn't feel like he needs to make a big splash in the draft with the wideout. I don't know. I don't know what direction he's going to go in, because obviously we're focusing most of our attention on what they're going to do at number 2.
Right. Yeah, so May had a good pro day. JJ had a good pro day.
It's just funny.
Daniels had a pretty good pro day.
So much into
pro days
and what sort of interaction they're having on the sidelines with these guys. I know that in Jaden Daniels' pro day, there was a video of him walking on the field, bouncing a basketball on the turf field, and then he, I guess, weaves through a bunch of the executives and then winds up at the end dapping up Adam Peters,
Right.
who's obviously the GM here.
Right, and
in
people see that and
Washington.
go, "Oh, he's the guy."
Right.
Peters loves him.
Right. So
Was Peters at May's pro day, or was it
Peters,
just Quinn?
I believe Peters was there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they just hopped on the bird from Louisiana, flew to Carolina, the whole contingent, to see Drake Maye throw.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, the Commanders have less than a month. Probably, I don't know, 20
Draft starts
6 days
April
or something.
25th.
You got less than a month to make that decision. It's
Yep.
got to be a good one. And whoever you draft, you got to coach them up. You got to make them better.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big deal. This could make or break Dan Quinn and the entire staff.
If I had to go with recency bias, the way Dan Quinn was looking at Drake Maye was, I gotta have that.
Yeah.
I gotta have that talent. So, but again, that's the most recent thing I've seen. I didn't see any Dan Quinn interaction with Jaden Daniels from his pro day, but I did see some at UNC.
But he
with
could
Drake
have had
Maye.
the similar reactions.
Sure,
We don't know.
Sure,
We have
just
no
don't
idea.
know. I did notice he kept his hat backwards.
He loves that.
The question is, does he do it on game day?
Yeah.
Or does he bow to pressure and become a forward hat guy when the real bullets start flying in September?
Well,
Only
now,
time will tell.
Look, again, we talked about their draft selections. 6 picks in the top 100.
Yep.
They got really good draft capital. But that number 2 pick has to be the one. I'm not saying he's got to be a Hall of Famer. Be nice if he is, but they've got to hit on that number 2, and he's got to be a playoff quality quarterback by year 3.
In your opinion, what are the odds right now, March 29th, that Adam Peters trades out of the number 2 pick?
0.
0?
Yeah, I think it's 0.
0?
Yeah, I think it's 0. I don't think they're trading
I don't
out.
think it's 0. I think it's low. I think it's probably 5 to 10%.
I don't think it's that high.
I don't think it's 0.
Well, again, we have no idea who they really love. But if they really love Daniels or May, they're not trading
because teams that are not in the range to pick guys like May and Daniels, they're horny to get up there in the top 3 because at Jaden Daniels' pro day, Antonio Pierce was there, and the Raiders aren't anywhere near the top 3. Like they're picking at 13, I believe.
Right.
So they got to move up 10 spots to get in the
They got to give up a
they
lot.
Want. We know that the Vikings, who have 2 first-round picks, would love to get into the top 4 or 5. There's a lot of buzz. They're going to trade both number 1 picks to move up to 4 to pick whichever quarterback's left of the group of May, Williams, Daniels, McCarthy. So there's a lot of buzz around those top picks.
There's a lot of buzz. I just think that Washington really needs to hit on this guy.
Yeah.
And if New England wasn't right behind them, needing a quarterback as well, let's just say it was another team that was already set a quarterback, I could see it happening maybe. But since they have to draft a quarterback, I don't see Peters trading out of number 2.
Yeah,
I don't.
Don't forget, coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll be joined by John Feinstein at 7:45. Listen for your chance to win tickets to Live and Stone Temple Pilots here on The Fan.